Hello everyone. Today we are going to start Standard 7th NCERT Science Chapter number 16, Water, a precious resource. Now in this chapter we are going to understand that why water is considered as a precious resource. So let's get started with this chapter. The very nice and good proverb thought written over here, जल है तो कल है, isn't it? अब जल ही नहीं है तो हमारा what is the future? Okay, so if you have water you can think of a future. पानी है तो ही हम आगे कर सकते हैं, बगैर पानी without water we cannot survive. So let's start with this. You are perhaps aware that 22nd March is celebrated as a World Water Day, isn't it? 22nd March is celebrated as a World Water Day. Now here in the figure 16.1, a few posters prepared by the students of your age group regarding this Water Day celebration. Save every drop of water, you can save water, my best friend water, every drop counts. Now all these thoughts, all these sentences gives us a message that we have to start thinking about this precious resource, water. Now, have you ever felt a shortage of your water at a home or school? Or you must be knowing that, isn't it? So, no wonder we celebrate Water Day every year to attract the attention of everybody towards the importance of conserving water. Why we celebrate 22nd March as a Water Day? To draw the attention. ओके सबको ये ध्यान लाने के लिए हम ये सेलिब्रेट करते हैं फॉर कंजर्विंग वाटर. नाउ द अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर रिकमेंडेड बाय द यूनाइटेड नेशंस. Okay, United Nations has recommended some certain criteria for the water like drinking, washing, cooking, maintaining proper hygiene is a minimum of 50 liters per person per day. पर पर्सन पर डे को 50 लीटर्स पानी चाहिए होता है. सो दिस अमाउंट इज अबाउट वी कैन से 2.5 bucket of water, okay, per person per day. So we should feel fortunate that if we are getting this enough water for this all activities. Now in some places there is an acute shortage of water. We observe, we listen in the news, okay, we will see various types of news from the news channel that a particular area has a shortage of water, okay, taps running dry, long queues for water fetching, fights, march, protests and demand water for a common sight, especially during summer days. These situations arise during a summer. So some of the newspaper clippings and all these you have seen it, okay, that in picture 16.2 you can see that the long queue for water, the people are waiting in a queue for fetching a water. Now activity 6.1 is a very interesting one. Collect a clipping from newspaper and magazines on the news items, articles and pictures related to water shortage. Now what you have to do, certain clippings from newspaper, magazine or other sources you need to collect regarding water shortage and then paste them in your scrapbook. Then you have to paste them in your scrapbook and share with your friends and discuss the list some of the problems based on that clippings. Now water shortage has become a matter of concern throughout the world. Now water shortage becomes concern. Now अब सब लोग उस पर ध्यान देने लगे हैं कि water shortage हो रहा है. This concern is all over the world. It is estimated that in a few years from now more than 1/3 of the people in the world can face a water scarcity. अभी ये ध्यान में रखा ये एस्टिमेट निकाला गया है that हर एक तीसरे आदमी को पानी की अछत होगी. Okay, water scarcity in a very next few upcoming years. Okay, now before we discuss why water is getting scarce, okay, why water is getting scarce, now let's understand how much water available to us in our planet. Okay, now here 2003 is observed as a fresh water, isn't it? International year for fresh water to make people aware for the dwindling natural resource. ये जो हमारा रिसोर्स है ना फ्रेश वाटर के लिए वो 2003 में ऑब्जर्व किया था. तो let's started with the 16.1. How much water is available to us, that is on our planet. Now we had seen, okay, look at the picture of the earth taken from this space. Why does it appears blue? Yes, you are right. Surely you are aware that 70% of the earth's surface is covered with water. So almost all the waters on the earth contains in seas, oceans, rivers, lakes, ice caps, etc. are found in the atmosphere. Even groundwater also, isn't it? However, most of this water is not fit. ये जो सभी पानी हमें sea, ocean, lake, ice caps, these we getting water but that are not fit for human consumption. वो पीने के लिए, consumption के लिए अच्छा नहीं है. Okay, directly. So the water that is fit for use for us is fresh water. That water is a fresh water. Now let's perform this very interesting activity. 16 point to that this table. Now here in the picture you can see steps, figures and remarks. So very first look at the picture, that is a bucket. Take a medium sized bucket and fill it up with water. It contains about 20 liters of water. Approximately 20 liters bucket ka pani lo. Now think, assume that this water represent water present on the earth. So we can say bucket, water present on earth, isn't it? Now next, let's see. Take a teaspoon of table about 5 ml capacity and transfer 200 spoons of water from the bucket to a small tumbler or a container. So the bucket, from this we need to take 100 spoons, okay, containing 5 ml and transfer it to another container, or we can say tumbler. Okay, so now we can say the tumbler. Okay, now what tumbler represents? Tumbler represents total fresh water on the earth. Total fresh water on earth. Next, from the bath mug, transfer the 30 spoons of water to a glass tumbler. Okay, now from this tumbler we have to transfer 30 spoons. पहले हमने कितनी spoons transfers की थी? 100. Now we have to transfer these 30 spoons. Okay, we can say 100 now. Okay, then from that glass container or a tumbler, from bath mug transfer 30 spoons of water to a glass. Now this gives measure to a usable water. So we can say glass. Now what it represents? We had seen the 30 spoons. Okay, now what it represents? Gives measures to usable water present as a groundwater. So we can say present is groundwater. Now you know the groundwater. If you don't know, I will explain this term later on the chapter. And the last, finally take out quarters, 1/4 spoon of water from this mug. Now from this glass water, 1/4 spoon, okay, of water transfer from water from the mug. Okay, now what it represent? It represent 1/4 spoon water. Represent what it represents? It represents all water present in lakes, rivers of the world. Water in lakes or rivers of the world. So what this activity shows that the water left in the bucket represent the saline water. So we can say this bucket water is a saline water. Saline, which is not fit for consumption. And sea, which is present in partially seas, oceans and partly as a groundwater. And the water which is not fit for human consumption. Saline water is not fit for us to use. Next, water left in the bath mug represent water which is present in the frozen. Now bath mug, ये tumbler में जो water है which is present, what represents as a water. Okay, frozen ice caps, glaciers. So we can say glaciers, ice caps, etc. These all are in these forms, again which is not available, okay, for readily. So this activity shows the how much water we have for human consumption. So Bujo wondered about alarming small quantity of water available for us. Okay, छोटी ही क्वांटिटी बची यूज करने के लिए. See how much we are. Okay, हम कितने लोग हैं और हमारे पास कितना पानी है. Paheli quickly calculated and found that this amount is roughly 0.006 of all water found on the earth. So this activity shows that how much water we are having for use and how much water we are having down the planet. Okay, now let's start with the next forms of water. Let's understand the forms of water. We all know that there are three forms of water, isn't it? You understand or you learned in the class 6. Now these three forms of water are maintained by the water cycle, isn't it? Which you had already understood in class 6. So when water circulates throughout the water cycle, it can be found in these three forms, that is solid, liquid and gas. Now let's understand the solid form of water. The solid form of water we can say snow, ice caps, which is found in the polar regions of the poles of the earth, snow covered mountains and glaciers. Now liquid form of water is present in oceans, lakes, rivers or even underground water also. They are considered as a liquid source of water. Now the third one, the gaseous form, is the water vapor present in the atmosphere around the air, isn't it? Present in the air around us. So the continuous cycling of the water among these three forms, solid, liquid and gas, keeps the water cycle constant. Okay, these three forms keep the water cycle constant. So here are the activity 16.3 is very interesting. In the 16.5 figure, few of the labels are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. You have to identify this process which is based on water cycle, and here it is written in jumbled one. We have to arrange this sequence. This is a very interesting one. So the very first one, look at the label first one, we can say groundwater. Second, this is very also interesting, evaporation. Okay, look at the figure 2. जहाँ पे 2 लिखा है ना, वहाँ पे देखो evaporation process. You can also note down in a book if you want to write this. Number 3, condensation. Okay, number 3, condensation. Number 4, this is also very interesting thing. It's very easy, clouds. Then number 5, transpiration. Look at the figure number 5, transpiration. You can also write in the book. Number 6, infiltration. And number 7, last one, it is very easy, it's precipitation. So this is how the water cycle flows. So most of the towns and the cities have water supply system maintained by the civic bodies, isn't it? Corporation, municipal corporation will manage this. The water is drawn from nearby lakes, river, ponds or wells. So water is supplied throughout the network of a pipe. हमारे घर पे जो पानी पहुँचता है, it passes from a network of pipe. Pipe का एक network होता है, उसमें से वो आता है. So many villages do not have such water supply system. They have to fetch water directly from the other sources. Often people and even children have to walk several kilometers to fetch water. Look at the picture. Okay, the children suffer a lot. They cannot attend a school regularly since they spend hours in fetching water. घर में इतने मेंबर हो तो पानी की ज़रूरत भी ज़्यादा होती है. So they need more hands to fetch water. So women have to perform a number of household chores. Okay, if they have also spent time to fetch water, it adds to their burden. So a large number of people draw water from wells, tube wells or hand pumps. Okay, आप देखते होगे ना, वेल में से, ट्यूबवेल में से और हैंडपंप में से भी पानी लेते हैं लोग. नाउ लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड, लेट ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट द आंसर. फ्रॉम वेयर डज दीज सोर्सेज गेट वाटर? वेल्स, ट्यूबवेल्स, हैंडपंप में पानी कहाँ से आता है? लेट्स स्टार्ट विथ इट. लेट्स स्टार्ट विथ दिस आंसर, दैट फ्रॉम वेयर ट्यूबवेल्स, हैंडपम्प्स एंड वेल्स गेट वाटर. वी कैन से दैट from these sources water comes from groundwater. So let's understand 16.3 groundwater is an important source of water. So if we dig a hole in the ground near a water body, we may find that the soil is moist, isn't it? In chapter number 9 you will understand now about that soil. When we dig, the different layers of the soils are that the upper layer moisture, wet, something like that. So if we dig a soil, we find that moisture is present on it. So the moisture in the soil indicates the presence of groundwater. What moisture indicates? It indicates that presence of water under a ground. If we dig deeper and deeper, we will reach a level where all the space between the particles of soils and gaps and rocks are filled with water. So we can say that the upper level of the above layer, the upper layer of the land, which is called as water table. So we understand about water table, the upper layer. Okay, water table. Now what is this? The water table varies from place to place, isn't it? वो हर एक जगह में अलग अलग होता है. आप देखते होंगे कोई बोरवेल करवाता होगा तो वो बोलते होंगे कि पर्टिकुलर फीट पे पानी आता है, इतने फीट पे फुट पे पानी आया. बट व्हाट इज दैट? दैट इज अ वाटर टेबल विच ड्रॉइंग वाटर फ्रॉम द ग्राउंड, एंड इट मे इवन चेंज एट द गिवन प्लेस. Water table may be at the depth less than a meter or may be several meters below the ground. Ground के नीचे भी वो कितने सारे meters down जाता है, फिर भी वो पानी निकलता है. ओके, तो उसका लेवल अलग अलग हर जगह पे होता है. You just notice at the construction site. ओके, कंस्ट्रक्शन जहाँ पे होता है ना साइट, वहाँ पे ये बोरिंग सिस्टम करवाते हैं. फ्रॉम द कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट्स गेट्स वाटर फ्रॉम दैट सोर्स. So the water found below the water table is called groundwater. The water found below the water table के नीचे जो पानी मिलता है, that is a ground water. This groundwater which has tube wells, wells and hand pumps. Now the rainwater and the water from the other sources such as rivers, ponds seeps through the soil. The water from this river, pond seeps यानी एब्जॉर्ब कर लेता है from the soil and fills with the empty spaces and cracks deep below the ground. वो deep below the ground में वो fill process वो सब सीप कर लेता है. So we can say the process of seeping of water into the ground is known as infiltration, which we can say infiltration. Now what is this infiltration? Seeping of water. Okay, seeping of water is known as seeping of water into the ground is known as infiltration. The groundwater thus gets recharged by this process. With the help of infiltration process, the groundwater recharge होता है. ओके, वहाँ पे सब वो वापस पानी आ जाता है. आपने वो टर्म सुना होगा, कोई लोग ऐसे बोलते हैं कि बोर रिचार्ज करवा लेते हैं. बारिश का पानी आता है तो वो क्या करते हैं, बारिश का पानी कलेक्ट कर लेते हैं और बोर रिचार्ज करते हैं. तो इन दिस वे दिस ग्राउंड वाटर रिचार्ज. तो वी कैन से विद द infiltration process. So the groundwater thus gets recharged by this process. Now at the place the groundwater is stored between the layers of hard rocks and the water table. Okay, कोई जो place होती है जिसमें water store होता है between the layers of hard rocks and water table. तो water table और hard rocks के बीच का जो layer होता है उसमें वो water store होता है. That is known as aquifer, which we can say aquifer. Isn't it? Now water in the aquifers can be usually pumped out with the help of wells or tube wells. So from these aquifers the water is pumped out, वहाँ से खींचा जाता है. Okay, through the wells or tube wells. Now you understand aquifer, infiltration, water table. Okay, now have you ever been a site where the construction work is going on? Just visit it. It is, you will understand that all the water from the construction may get, okay, from boring were being done at such size to reach water table. Water table तक पानी खींचने के लिए, उसका पानी यूज़ करने के लिए बोरिंग करवाते हैं कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट पे. BORING. ओके, एंक्वायर फ्रॉम द पीपल You will understand. Now let's understand. Now how many times? Okay, the many a times we use the water from the water table, it will someday exhaust. Now let's find what are the reasons behind it. Now we had understand there is water we get from the groundwater for the various works and water table we had understand. Now what will happen if we fetch water from the water table? Okay, soon depletion. 16.4 will understand depletion of water table. Depletion यानी कम हो जाना. Okay. Now water drawn from the undergrounds get restored by the seepage of rainwater. वो rainwater से वो seepage होता है, store होता है. The water table does not get affected as long as we draw water, as is replenished by the natural process. जब तक पानी वहाँ पे आता है natural process से वो replenished होता है, rain water seeps ground easily, तब तक वो हमें water table में से पानी मिल रहा है. Now however water table may go down if the water is not sufficiently replenished. ये water table का भी पानी कम हो सकता है if it is not replenished by a natural process. So this may happen due to the many reasons. There are various reasons behind the depletion of water table. So let's understand the various factors which are responsible for the depletion of water table. The very first one is increasing population. We know increasing population. Now what is this? Increasing population means ultimately needs water. Agricultural activities, okay, this water come from the water table. So we can say scanty rainfall is another factor that may deplete the water table. अगर बारिश ही नहीं होगी तो how it will be replenished, how it is recharged. Okay, so we can say that the scanty of rainfall is also a reason of depletion of water table. So increasing population creates demands for constructions of houses, shops, offices, roads, pavements. Okay, this decrease open areas like parks and playgrounds. Park और playground कम होता जाएगा और ये सभी चीज़ें बढ़ती जाएगी as the population increase. So this in turn decrease the seepage of rainwater. Okay, ultimately it will be less seepage of rainwater. We had understand this pakka floor and kacha floor, seepage of rainwater. Okay, in pakka floor, the water has minimum chances to seep as compared to kacha floor. So ground, parks are kacha floors. Now increasing population will create demands for offices, houses, schools, buildings, various factors. So this will make that floor pakka from the kacha and hence the water seepage is less. Now this is the consequence that pakka floor does not allow water to seep in easily, while in grass lawn water seeps through in with no time. Now moreover the huge amount of water required for the construction work, so often groundwater is used for this process. So on the one hand we are consuming more groundwater. हम वाटर टेबल में से पानी लेते हैं more ground water, and on other hand we are allowing lesser amount of water to seeps into the ground. उसी साइड पे हम पानी तो लेते हैं ग्राउंड में से and on the other hand will give lesser amount of water to seeps into ground by converting kacha floor to a pakka floor. So this result in the depletion of water table. In fact the water table in some of the parts of the many cities has gone down alarmingly low level. उसका level बहुत ही low हो गया है. तो these are that alarming situations created in some of the cities. Now the next factor after increasing population, we can say increasing industries. This will also another factor for the depletion of water table. Now what is the water used by all the industry? Almost everything that we needs water somewhere in its production process. The number of industries is increasing continuously. Water used by most of the industries is drawn from the ground. सभी industries को पानी चाहिए होता है. Most of the productions are done through the water. Now here 16.4 is also very interesting. Name some industries familiar to you. Make a list of the products obtained from these and which is used in our daily life. So what you have to do, the things which we are using in our daily life, you have to make a list from where we get it and we have to find that. Growing industry is responsible for the depletion of water because water is involved in that process. Now next is agriculture activities. That is must, agricultural activities. This is also another, because we India mainly depends on agriculture, isn't it? So पानी तो चाहिए होता है एग्रीकल्चर के लिए. So a majority of the farmers in India depends upon rains for irrigating their crops. Irrigation systems such as canals are there only in a few places. Even these systems may suffer from lack of water due to erratic rainfall. Therefore, farmers have to use groundwater for irrigation. They are again using this source of water, that is groundwater. पॉपुलेशन प्रेशर, अगर ये इंक्रीज हुआ पॉपुलेशन तो बर्डन किस पे आएगा, क्योंकि जितना पॉपुलेशन का ग्रोथ होगा उतने खाने की डिमांड भी बढ़ेगी ना, तो एग्रीकल्चर पे वो ट्रबल आएगा. ओके, एग्रीकल्चर फोर्सेस इंक्रीज यूज ऑफ ग्राउंड वाटर डे बाय डे. सो दिस रिजल्ट्स इन डिप्लेशन ऑफ वाटर टेबल. दीज आर द रीजंस. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द नेक्स्ट. 0.5 about distribution of water. Now the water distribution over the globe is quite uneven due to their number of factors. सब जगह पानी पहुँचने का तरीका अच्छा नहीं है. Okay, we can say that they are uneven. So various reasons that the person is not getting proper water at proper time and proper amount of water. So some places have good amount of rain and water are rich. On the other hand, there are deserts which have a scanty rainfall. जहाँ पे बारिश अच्छी होती है वहाँ पे भी uneven factors are responsible for passing the water, and that scant rains, okay, are there deserts. So India is a vast country and the rainfall is not the same everywhere. Some regions have excessive rain while some other have little rain. So excessive rain causes floods, whereas the absence of rains results into drought. Therefore, some regions in our country may have floods while other may suffer from the drought at the same time. आप देखते होंगे कि कितने इलाके में कितना बारिश हुआ और कितने में नहीं हुआ है. So that we can say floods and droughts conditions arise at a particular time. The activity 16.5 is there. In a book, a map is given. Now you have to do one thing. 3 tasks you have to do, and based on this activity, locate on the map the place where you live, which place you live in. You have to indicate that. Then next, you have to see that there is a sufficient rainfall. Is that where you area? And is there sufficient water available to your area throughout the year? These 3 tasks you have to do on the basis of this map, that is activity 16.5. So it may be possible that we are living in area where there is a sufficient rainfall, yet there is a shortage of water. Now, can we attribute this to the mismanagement of the water resources? Yes. So let's understand water management system. Now how the water is managed. In class 6, that many places regular supply of water is provided by a well planned pipe system. Pipe system से वो पानी पहुँचता है. When the civic authorities, okay, supply water through pipes, not at all if may reach the destination. सब जगह पानी पहुँचता भी नहीं है. Okay. So you might have seen the water supply pipes leaking and lot of water is gushing out of the pipe. Many a times we had seen a particular sites when the taps are leaking, water is coming continuously. So this is a shortage, we can say that is a shortage of water is arise due to the leaking of water through the pipes. Okay. So it is the responsibility of the civic authorities to prevent such wastage of precious resource. ऐसे ही नल में से पानी निकल जाता है और किसी को मिलता भी नहीं है, तो we can say ना this water should be not be wasted. Okay, it is the responsibility of the civic authorities to concern on this matter. Mismanagement or wastage may take place at the level of individuals also. All of us, knowingly or unknowingly, we waste water, various tasks, while brushing, while shaving, while bathing, while washing, and during many other activities. So leaking taps is another source of huge waste water. We waste water as through we do not need water the next time. कई लोगों को इतनी आदत होती है ना कि जब वो ब्रश करते तभी वो नल खुला रखते चालू रखते हैं. तो in this way leaking taps is a wastage of water. So we should always use water as per need. We have seen that the most of the water that we get as a rainfall just flows away. बारिश का पानी आता है और निकल जाता है. This is also another shortage, wastage of water. This waste is precious natural resources because mainly water we get from rain. The rain water can be used to recharge the ground water. Okay, जब भी वो रेन का पानी अंदर जाएगा ज़मीन में, ग्राउंड वाटर तभी रिचार्ज होगा एंड देन द वाटर टेबल में जो पानी होगा उसका लेवल बढ़ेगा. Okay, this is referred as a water harvesting or rain water harvesting system, which you had already understood in class 6. Now, we had at many places in India, it has an old age practice of water shortage, okay, water storage and water recharge like Bawris. Now, Bawri was a traditional way of collecting wet water. With the time, Bawri fell into the disuse and garbage started piling in these reservoirs. पहले के ज़माने में क्या होता है? The Bawri is there where the water is storage for the further use. Now, but what happened as time goes? The garbage start piling up in this reservoir. So, because of the acute water shortage, people in this area have had to rethink about this water. So, the Bawris are being revived today. And the situation is that in spite of scanty rains, these places are managing their water needs well. Now Bawris are recharged, they have revived. Okay, a farmer using water in the field can also use water economically. We had understood that India is agricultural. Farmer needs water for agriculture. Various irrigations are taken out. So canal irrigation, we can say the farmer using in that canal irrigation, water is used more and used ultimately is also be wasted more. So maybe you have heard about a drip irrigation system. Okay. Now in the water management, we have another factor to the farmer, that farmer should use the drip irrigation method. Okay. Irrigation means a proper supply of water to the sown or grown crops. Now drip irrigation is a technique of watering plants by making use of narrow tubings which delivers water directly at the base of the plant. Plant के base पे ऐसा नेट जैसा pipes elongate, okay, यहाँ पे वो छोटे छोटे tubings होते हैं, deep holes. So water is supplied through these narrow tubes and this is got good benefit to the farmer. The crop production increases, the water from these narrow tubings directly reaches to the root base level पे. So no issue regarding weeds, farmer gets good production in this. Ultimately the water is used wisely. Okay, so directly at the base of the plants, isn't it? So these various irrigation methods are there for farming in a proper way in which the water are conserved or less usage of shortage of water can be done, and hence the ultimately it will also help farmer to for the more productions. You can also look at the picture 16.9 drip irrigation. Now as we all understand about the water system, supply, irrigation, farmer, water depletes, particular factors are there. Now what role you can play? Okay. Now have you ever shown concern if you saw a tap leaking in your house, school or many other places? So we can say leaking taps is a waste a lot of water. So you must make effort to stop this leakage. There are a number of ways you can adopt to minimize the wastage of water. Water are wasted in daily life we are using, isn't it? Water using, in some of that water are wasted. Now what will do, what role you can play to conserve this water or to minimize the waste or to stop? So here are the water wise habits. The very first one, turn off the taps while brushing. Second one, mop the floor instead of washing. We can also add replaced leaking taps, okay, or repaired. Then we can say next one, use bucket for bathing, not shower bath, isn't it? Drink water which we want to drink, take that much water only. Okay, the remaining water collect in other bucket for the further use of the house activity. So these are the various points which you can think, which you can minimize the wastage of water. Now it's your duty, okay, to conserve, how you will conserve this precious resource. Now what effects of water scarcity on plants? अब अगर पानी हमने देखा कि हर आफ्टर सम ईयर्स हर तीसरे आदमी को पानी की अछत होगी, बट व्हाट इफेक्ट्स वाटर स्कैरसिटी ऑन प्लांट्स, प्लांट्स के वाटर स्कैरसिटी क्या होगी, कैसे होगा उस पर. यू मस्ट हैव सीन स्पॉटेड प्लांट्स wilting and ultimately drying up if they did not get water even for a few days. ओके, थोड़े दिन आप ऑब्जर्व करना कि उसको पौधे को पानी नहीं मिलेगा तो अल्टीमेटली इट्स विल विल्ट एंड ड्राई अप, वो सूख जाएगा, मुरझा जाएगा. So we know that in chapter 1 we had understand plants need water to get nutrients from the soil to prepare the food from the photosynthesis. Okay, just imagine the consequences if water is not available to plants. प्लांट्स के वाटर नहीं मिलेगा तो सॉइल में जो न्यूट्रिएंट्स होंगे वो कैसे वो लेंगे अपने आप से. तो रूट्स एब्जॉर्ब्स द वाटर, इन दैट वी हैड अंडरस्टैंड, इजंट इट, विद द यूनिक प्रोसेस photosynthesis. So ultimately we can say the green character of the planet shall be lost. This may mean the end of all life. For a world without plants shall mean no food, no oxygen, not enough rain, or innumerable other problems. You can just see it: deforestation, no rain, no oxygen. These all are affected if there is no water on earth, or ultimately plants will dry. So no exchange of gases takes place for the respiration of the particular organism. So this successful initiative taken by the Rajasthan. Okay people, Rajasthan is a hot and dry place. The challenge of the natural scarcity of water was met by a successful experiment. A band of social workers has transformed a dry area in the Alwar district into green place. Okay, Alwar district के कोई portion dry था ना, उसको green place में convert किया. How? They have revived 5 dried up rivers. They have revived 5 dried up rivers. Arwari, Ruparel, Sarsa, भगिनी, जहाजवली. बाय कंस्ट्रक्टिंग वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग स्ट्रक्चर, पानी को वो स्टोर करते गए, इसीलिए वो वाटर टेबल भी, ग्राउंड वाटर, इनफिल्ट्रेशन, ऑल दिस रिचार्ज, एंड दैट प्लेस इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू फ्रॉम ड्राई टू ग्रीन. सो in this way you can also think about this. Okay, so this is about this chapter. जल हमारा, हमारा जीवन, हमारा जल है वो हमारा जीवन है. So on this chapter we had understand how water is precious to us. So we must conserve this resource. We should minimize the wastage, or we should adopt such of the habits to we can conserve that water in a proper way. I hope you understand this chapter very well. Thank you.